2 days ago in Shenzhen, a white robot jumped into the air and kicked another robot's head clean off its body. The head hit the floor and rolled away, and the headless robot kept fighting. No head, still swinging.
Now here's the part almost nobody watching those viral clips understands. There's something hiding inside these fights. Something that changes what you're actually looking at. And I promise, it's better than the flying head. Stay with me. I'm China Uncle. I live in China, and this is the strangest new sport on Earth.
It's called URKL, the Ultimate Robot Kombat League. Yes, combat with a K. And yes, the organizers clearly understand the internet. They're calling it the world's first industry-grade fighting league for humanoid robots. And the opening night, on July 16th, had everything a real combat sport needs. Bright lights, dramatic entrances, a screaming crowd, and an octagonal cage in the middle of Shenzhen, the city where your phone, your drone, and half the gadgets in your house were born. The two fighters that night even had stage names. The white robot was Eagle. The black one was Matador. Both were versions of the same full-size humanoid from a Shenzhen company called Engine AI, standing roughly human height, walking into the cage under arena lights like a pay-per-view main event. Even action star Donnie Yen was reportedly in the crowd. And then it happened. Eagle threw a jumping kick, connected high, and Matador's head popped off and bounced across the cage. The crowd went silent for half a second, then completely lost it, and every phone in the building went up. But Matador didn't stop. The important electronics live in the torso, not the head. That thing up top is closer to a camera mount than a skull. So the headless robot kept moving, kept throwing strikes. And here's my favorite detail of the whole night. State media reports Matador actually won the match, 3 rounds to 2. One robot produced the most viral image of the year. The other robot lost its head and won on points. That's better storytelling than most boxing cards, and honestly, nobody even wrote it. China News Service reported the league's full setup when it was announced. 16 teams in the main competition, a real season, and a championship belt they valued at 10 million yuan, about 1.4 million US dollars. For a belt. For robots. So that's the show. Now let's talk about the real question. Why does this exist? Put yourself in the shoes of a robotics company for a second. You've spent years and burned millions building a machine that can walk. And now someone in a meeting says, let's put it in a cage, let another robot kick it in the chest, and let the entire internet watch. That sounds insane. It's actually the smartest thing in this whole story. Because a fight is the most brutal stress test a humanoid robot can face. Think about what fighting demands from a machine. Balance, while something is actively trying to knock you over. Split-second recovery when the plan goes wrong. Joints that survive impact after impact after impact. And the single hardest thing in all of humanoid robotics, getting up off the ground. Engineers have spent entire careers on the getting up problem. You can test all of this in a lab, slowly and politely, with padded floors and safety cables and people holding emergency switches. Or you can put your robot in a ring, let another machine kick it sideways, and learn in 3 seconds what the lab would take 3 months to teach you. Every fall is data. Every snapped joint is a memo to the engineering team, written in the most honest language there is. And unlike a demo video, which, let's be real, is one perfect take edited out of 50 faceplants, a live fight can't hide anything. The lights are on, the crowd is filming, and your robot either gets back up or it doesn't. So the pain is the product. The crowd pays to watch robots suffer, and the engineers get paid in information. Robot competitions have always worked this way, by the way. Robot soccer tested coordination. Disaster challenges tested mobility. Warehouse contests tested speed. URKL just swapped the soccer ball for a kick to the chest. Different theater, same engineering instinct. Create pressure, expose weakness, force everyone to improve. Okay, it's time. The thing I promised you at the start. The part the viral clips never show you. These robots are not fighting on their own. Based on how these humanoid combat events typically run, most of the machines in that cage are tele-operated. Meaning, behind every robot fighter, there's a human team with controllers in hand, calling the moves. Some robots run pre-programmed combos. An operator triggers the sequence, software handles the balance, and the motors do the rest. The amount of true, self-directed intelligence in that ring right now? Limited. Nobody built Skynet inside an octagon. No robot got angry. No machine chose revenge. So if you've seen one of these clips with a caption whispering that the machines are learning to fight us, look, that account is selling you a movie. This is not that movie. And here's my take. The remote controls don't make this fake. In a strange way, they make it more honest. Because what's really being tested in that cage isn't a robot's mind. It's a robot's body. Motors, joints, balance, durability. The deeply unglamorous hardware problems that decide whether humanoid robots ever become useful in the real world, in warehouses, in hospitals, in your kitchen. The punches are choreography. The falls are physics. The fighting is theater. The falling is science. Now zoom out with me, because the cage is small, but the game around it is enormous. By some counts, there are now more than 100 companies in China building humanoid robots. Some industry reports put the number even higher. Startups, tech giants, automakers, university teams, all racing to build a machine that can stand on two legs and do useful work. And most of them will not survive. That's normal. Early industrial races are crowded, and then reality starts removing players. But that crowd creates a very specific, very expensive problem. How does anyone know whose robot is actually good? Because right now, every single company can produce a beautiful video. The robot walks across a stage, waves, pours a drink, and the camera cuts before anything goes wrong. Spec sheets say whatever marketing wants them to say. Investors are writing enormous checks into this industry, and honestly, a lot of them are betting half blind. A public fight is very hard to fake. A robot cannot negotiate with gravity. A frame cannot explain away a fracture. A motor cannot issue a press release about overheating. Under those lights, in front of those phones, some weaknesses become impossible to hide. To me, that's what URKL really is. A ranking machine for an entire industry disguised as entertainment. The teams get attention. The engineers get failure data. The investors get comparisons they can actually see. And the public gets a robot head rolling across the floor. Everyone walks out of the same arena holding a different product. Even that gold belt has a job. The belt creates status. Status attracts teams. Teams create rivalry. Rivalry attracts viewers and sponsors, and all of it produces more fights, which means more falls, more broken joints, more data, better machines. That loop matters more than the prize. And China has run this exact play before. Electric vehicles grew up through vicious domestic competition. Drone companies iterated inside the same dense manufacturing network. Now, humanoid robots are walking into the same pressure cooker, and the arena is in Shenzhen, because that city can turn a broken joint into a redesigned part faster than almost anywhere on Earth. Your robot loses on Saturday? You don't write a report. You rebuild, and you're back in the cage next season. Now, let's be clear about one thing. A flying kick is not a factory shift. The distance between winning a robot fight and working 8 boring, reliable, safe hours next to human beings is enormous, and no belt can close it. The cage can't answer every question, but it can expose weak bodies fast, and it does something even rarer. It makes engineering visible. You may not understand torque control, but you understand falling down. You may not understand sensor fusion, but you understand a head flying across an arena. That translation is the real ticket everyone bought. So that's China's newest sport. 16 teams, $1 million belt. Robots that lose their heads and win on points anyway. Will it become the next big sports league, or stay a beautiful, expensive crash test with a merch stand? Honestly, I don't know. But either way, remember what you're actually watching. Every hit, every stumble, every headless machine that keeps swinging is one more data point in the race to build robots that can survive the real world. Because here's the thing about China that took me years to understand. It doesn't wait for the future to be finished. It builds a cage and sells tickets to the rough draft. I'm China Uncle. If you want the stories from China that never get translated, subscribe. See you in the next one.